And with that and the magic of technology, hello, Judah.
Hey, lads.
How you going? What's going on with your phone?
I don't know. I never got the call.
Mate, we've been having a call, but it doesn't matter what's happened in the past. We can deal with the present and the future, and what a delight it is to have you on. We've already listened to 2 of your songs, and one of them is so apt because it describes your voice perfectly, as smooth as Tennessee whiskey.
Well, thank you.
No, I did see you on The Voice. You were the winner as soon as I heard you sing on the blind audition. Magnificent, pure voice. And like many people from your part of the world, singing is just been part of your life.
Absolutely. I pretty much, my mum tells me I was a baby. I couldn't even talk yet, but I would still try to sing along. So I've been gigging since I was 10 years old, which, I'm 20 years in and I'm only 30 years old. So, it's definitely been a massive part of my life.
Well, we have been talking about a show that you're bringing to Geelong. You've been waiting for us to call and we've been waiting for you to call in. So it's been highly entertaining radio, you can imagine. So we've been talking about this show you bring to Geelong on Friday night called The Big Chill Out. Tell us a bit.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, essentially, it's a tribute to Motown music, firstly, but then also the movie The Big Chill. It came out in 1983, and it pretty much just it changed marketing all around the world. Way back in the day, they used to just hire famous people to sing jingles, and then this movie came out, and they edited the scenes around the music instead, and it was really the first time that had been done. And that pretty much the guys on Madison Avenue picked up that, and so big companies started using licensing songs for ads instead of just getting people in to sing the jingles, and the money made through licensing the songs is actually what saved Motown Records from bankruptcy.
That's interesting, and in fact, of course, the one that probably we remember most, I'm just reeling from the fact that's 42 years ago, is probably the Levi Strauss ad where the guy dropped his jeans into a washing machine while the music Heard It Through the Grapevine was playing.
Absolutely, yeah. There were heaps, like Cadillacs, and I know Coca-Cola used a couple of the songs, and I personally think that's why all these songs became such big hits, is simply just the repetition of it. Like the repetition of hearing these songs, not only on the radio, of course, but on TV, on the ads, and that's how people become familiar with it, is the music just being seen. And thankfully, 40, 50 years later, we're still able to put a show on, tributing to this music.
Because a lot of those songs, if you think about it, were sort of mid to late 60s, and they probably went into a bit of a hiatus during the 70s as some of the big glam rock bands, the Slades and the Queens and the Dire Straits towards the end of the 70s, to then have a revival 15 or 20 years later. It was a bit like how ABBA was in the 90s. They were daggy for a period of time, but then they became trendy again.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm very thankful that happened, Even though the music came out a long time before I was born, I still grew up with a lot of this music. It was music from my mother's childhood. And so on the weekends when I heard this music blasting, I knew it was time to wake up and do the house chores, So
yeah, so you've knocked us around with the 42 years since the film came out, and now we're the same age as your mother. Now, we're feeling really old here, thanks very much.
No, not at all. Young at heart, that's all that matters,
Judy, you've got a real confidence in your voice now, and when you appeared on The Voice, you sang with confidence, but you were clearly young, naive, shy, whatever the case may be, through that period of time, and you've obviously bounced out of The Voice, and this new life that you've got is just filled you with confidence.
Absolutely, and even after winning The Voice, it still took some time for it to really sink in and settle in. At first, when I auditioned, it was simply to take the 6 months of publicity, and I'd pay my rent a little bit easier. But that was as far as I would get. And then as I'd go through the show, I kept saying to myself, well, it's been a good run, but, I'll be the next one out. And it just never happened. And thankfully, I was wrong. because it wasn't really until I made the top 4 that I thought I really had a crack at it, And then I toured, nationally, and I think just getting out there and playing in front of people and having people show up night after night really, solidified that thought in my head that, no, actually, people are interested and people do enjoy what I do, and that builds the confidence.
Due to the behind the scenes of the production of the television show, it seems from some experiences it's quite taxing, and some come out of it maybe not full of joy, but you seem to have come through it pretty well. Just refresh us a little bit on how the coaching aspect works. What happens behind the scenes to prepare you for week after week after week of performing at the quality you did?
Well, that's a hard thing to answer because everyone's experience is very different. So I'm sure there are a lot of people that didn't have the greatest time. Like anything, humans are going to human. We get along with some, we don't get along with others, and there's no real reason why. And I'm just really lucky that I got along with my coach. I picked Delta Goodrum, and we genuinely became friends, and she was in contact, off camera. Everyone that picked her as a coach, she called every single one of them after their audition aired just to double check, are you happy with how it aired? Are you happy with how they edited the scenes and all that? She went out of her way to really coach. And then when we made the top 12, so there was 3 in her team, we had dinner at her house with the 3 from the year before that were on her team. And as far as I know, the other coaches weren't really in contact off camera. So I think that's why I had such a unique experience, is because luckily, thankfully, I picked a coach that took their role seriously as a coach.
I'm really glad you said that, because she's been in the spotlight again after Eurovision, which is fantastic, and I imagine you thoroughly enjoyed that. But she's sort of divides Australia a little bit. I reckon she's a superstar, and I think she comes across on that Voice environment very, very genuine. So it sort of doesn't surprise me to hear you talk like that about her. She looks very genuine and seriously wanting to make you the best you can be.
Absolutely, and she goes, any issue I had, she was onto it and trying to, just a bad vocal day, she gave me her own, vocal steamer, and just anything that she could do to solve any problem you had, she would do it, and that I think is unreal. It takes a lot of stress out of TV. We had a million viewers on live TV every week, every episode, which. I was only 20 when I won the show. That's a stressful environment for anyone, let alone someone so young. And so the fact that I had a coach that took her role seriously as a coach, and then doing what she could to take that stress out of a stressful situation was just, for me, I had a fantastic time on the show.
And I guess also she would have had the experience of being a young person herself doing that. You get someone like, and I'm not having a crack at her because we love her dearly, but Marsha Hines, who's just that little bit older, when she was going through it either a long time ago or she was a lot further into her career, whereas Delta would have been coming off the back of a very similar experience not that many years ago.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. Famous, as a teenager. Even I didn't really understand what her career was when I was working with her. She explained to me humble brag, she would say, I would shut down shopping centers. Yeah. Because there were just so many people that would come to see her perform or see an appearance. And so, again, that's right. I think just having the experience to know that it's a stressful situation for anyone, but especially for someone who maybe just hasn't got the tools to know how to handle it being so young. She went out of her way to make sure we were sorted.
Well, we better pump this program up, your show on Friday night. It's Friday night at 7:30 at the Geelong Arts Centre. Have you been to that facility before?
I haven't. I've really only been to Geelong twice. I did a tour in 2018, and then I played with Adam Harvey for a year and a half. I toured with Adam. I'm pretty sure he's from the area, isn't he?
He is. We interviewed him in this time slot 3 weeks ago.
Oh, fantastic.
And he played his Geelong gig last Saturday night at the famous Gateway Hotel.
Unreal. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
so-
I played guitar for Adam for a year and a half and opened a heap of his shows. So
Oh, there you go. Well,
I've been twice, and it's been a little while since then, so I'm looking forward to coming back.
a small world. Well, he made us feel old by the fact that his album was 25 years old as well. So we're just going to hang up very shortly and go and sit in the corner and cry. But the music you're going to present, Marvin Gaye, The Temptations, The Rolling Stones, Aretha Franklin, Creedence Clearwater Revival, Smokey Robinson, Spencer Davis Group, The Band, Procol Harum, and Rob's favourite, many more. They're going to be there. You've got a 10-piece live band. Tell us about your sidekick in Asabi. Is it Asabi? Is that how we say her name?
Yeah, Asabi Goodman. She's unreal, honestly. She toured in the musical Chicago and Hairspray. Thankfully, she does a lot of like the compare work in the show, and then she sings a few. I'm not so great with words or learning scripts or anything, but she's toured the world doing exactly that. So again, it takes a lot of stress out of that for me, and I get to just come along and do what I'm good at. But Asabi's awesome. It's been really good getting to know her because I don't know anything about the theatre world, but she is well versed in it, and so I'm learning a lot from her as well.
Well, I've just brought up the website on my phone here in front of me, and in the stalls at the, you know how big the Story House is. In the stalls, there is probably 20 tickets left. That's all there is. Some of those are accessible. Some of them are on the side. There are 4 seats in row C, smack bang in the middle, looking straight at the stage. So if you want those, folks, I'd get on real quick if I were you. It is called the Big Chill Out Motown Spectacular. I'm sorry about the fact that our friends at the rather large telecommunication organisation let us down at the start, but we'll look forward to hearing from you in Geelong on Friday night.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
Judah, I think you sell yourself short, and you've done a really good job. The confidence in your voice, I didn't expect. I was thinking to myself, geez, it might be hard to get a word out of Judah. He was so shy, but you have really grown in stature. So I reckon you'd be ready to take that MC gig yourself, mate.
It might just be our interviewing techniques that have drawn it out. Maybe it's that.
I don't know, but you've done very well. Good on you, mate. With best wishes.
Thank you.
Thank you. There he is, Judah Kelly.